We got point three, Kenny, going point. Looking for a job, Kenny? The Caroliners having an absolute stinker on land. And Neptune, is he the best player in the CDL right now?
Yeah, don't rotate anywhere new just yet. We got all this and more. You don't want to miss it. Next. Ladies and gentlemen, we just concluded our first major of the 2026 season, and man, we've got some storylines to talk about. But before we do, let's go ahead and send it over to that winning moment for the Gentlemates. Let's run it.
Dashy's got to hunt him down. Ghosty's got to stay alive. We're looking for the bomb. 2, 1, stays alive. More than lives up to the name of the Phantom.
Well, I don't know about you, but as an Optic fan, that one hurts pretty bad.
Yeah, that was not what you wanted to see, especially after it looked like Optic was going to have some momentum after winning a couple of those rounds after one another. And we're going to talk about it a little bit more. But Pooh, what an insane major to start off the year. I mean, if this is just the beginning, I don't know what the rest of the year is going to look like, to be honest.
Yeah, man, what a start it was. And those finals, man, you're sitting there going, it's
Just Ghosty in finals.
I cue the edit there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But then you also realize that it's not just Ghosty in finals. It's Sib in finals. It's Neptune in finals. And then Envoy's doing whatever he can on the map to make those guys shine. I mean, Sib completely dominated. Neptune, I mean, let's be honest. He was the MVP of this weekend.
100%.
I mean, they didn't crown anybody. And let's not even talk about that trophy. But Neptune was absolutely popping off. I mean, I feel like we got to take a look at some of these top 5 plays. I mean, we kind of know who's going to be at the top, but let's take a look at those plays real quick.
Let's run it.
Mike was a little bit late to help here, and they're going to have to. That's just phased out of position.
Yeah, I don't know if they're worried about a pinch. Slow it down here. Try to get pushed out a little bit.
I panicked for a second.
No, I did as well.
Be kidding me. 16 and 20, but listen, he's stepping up in the big time. Here we go.
Might be tied up. Might be tied up. It is. What a comeback from G2.
They 1 kill. Draws gets 1 to shut down the MP there for a second, but tucked away is Estriel. Can he get more? Trying to go through for the score, and it's open and it's in. What a rally from G2.
Almost able to connect, but this is done. Estriel putting in number 7.
Down 3 in the first half, and making a statement on the flip. And he's letting them know, Mom. Smoke up by the bottom, Mercury's here. Another miracle. Just maybe. The battle is on! And I can scarcely believe my eyes. Parrish spawning all the way at P4. That's about as good as you can ask for. This is the next push from Koi, and they can't even get across mid, because Neptune is final! That's all 4, 6 straight, taken over in a massive moment. As he got pushed so far forward though, a spawn's gonna open pretty close to their own, but Neptune still just feasting. What a stretch.
I mean, the God of the Sea is destroying the fish right now. Koi in the blender, 15 seconds. Make it 11. Neptune is destroying Koi.
No on Neptune versus the world. First shots are good, clean.
Neptune's waiting to see if they're going to re-wrap back with their spawn. Not the case. He's going to be at the disadvantage in a major way with the clock now ticking against him, and all the space he's got to clear. Decent shots for the first, able to find the kill. Now to the 1v1. Nade. Not going to land. It's a boozy on the other side. Stun comes out, will land. That's good information for Neptune. This is bold.
He may get an opportunity. They're going to meet over to the middle of the map. Neptune's going to have the advantage. Kill comes through. Animation there at A. Oh, but pair slide forward. They're trying to play. Neptune's looking for the hot hand. He's going to go forward to find one. Can he get away? Oh, a little bit of trouble for Envoy, but Neptune finds another. It's just down to Nep once again. Can he find the kill at the top? Yes. Just to the 1v1. Oh!
Well, you might as well call this the Neptune highlight reel. We had some great plays over the weekend, but this Neptune kid is shining bright. We got the 1v3 against FaZe, and then we have the ace round 10 against FaZe. This guy was doing it all.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the team that you expect to fall and crumble like that. I mean, if you're looking at the Royal Ravens, maybe. If you're looking at LA Thieves, or hell, maybe even looking at Optic, those are the teams that could fall and break. But when you look at FaZe, I mean, Neptune, he had complete composure in this match. I mean, we were watching it live. We were going absolutely crazy. We had Clean Joe in the house just going, oh my gosh, he's like, I got FaZe in the final. I need FaZe in the final. But anyway, it was insane. Neptune absolutely deserved it after those, grand final loss. He deserved it this weekend. But I mean, G2 Minnesota, personally, they're one of my dark horses for this event.
Yep.
I mean, they had an insane comeback when you talk about breaking down FaZe, breaking down against G2. And their first matchup in the winners round 1, I believe it was, they were up 5-2 in the overload. Poooh. Ended 7-5 in favor of the G2 Minnesota to 3-0 them and to send them to the losers bracket. But I mean, what are your opinions on this G2 Minnesota team?
This G2 Minnesota team, and I don't want to get ahead of myself because they're one of my picks for Rotate New. Stay tuned for that. But dude, this team, you look at them on paper, and we're going even before when we're doing Major Mania saying, hey, they're going to bomb out. No one's taking them. I think the only one who did take them was Clean Joey, which is why he did so well in our little bracket tournament. But these guys, they're the scrappy, and I'm not talking Ernie, dog in the fight. They're showing up on land, and it's going, hang on a minute. I could get a little bit of this G fuel from this G2 team, man. I'm energized. They are a fun team to watch. Mamba going beast mode, roaring, Estriel. I mean, these guys, even Skies, you're like, hang on a second. What is happening?
Yeah, he's standing up and talking it to him, that's not really what you see out of this guy.
No.
He hasn't been able to do that in a long time. So
what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, he's been getting slammed, let's be honest. But hey, you got to give your props to some of these teams that came out swinging. And, Optic, we got to talk a little bit about them because they did have that heartbreaker in that Game 7 search and destroy, but they were frying. They were absolutely going off. They placed second at their home event, and they could have easily won it. And I don't want to talk too much about these teams because we are going to talk about them one by one and talk about where they need to improve, what looks good. But Optic, they were shooting. They were absolutely frying. But who wasn't frying, who was bombing out of the tournament early, was our boy Phil the Thrill's Royal Ravens. I mean, shoot, Poooh, it was not a good showing for them.
No, not a good showing at all. And you get a bad matchup, right? You're getting the Thieves. Of course, you beat them online. So you're a little few. Also, we got to shout out the CDL socials team over the weekend. They did a great job. Those memes were on top. Man, those were fun to watch. Wasn't fun to watch was this series. I mean, Thieves just absolutely smoke rolled them. You're like, okay, we kind of expected that. And then it set up the G2 series. You're like, I don't even what is going on, but you get a bad lineup, you get Thieves, you get steamrolled. Okay, and we'll talk about Thieves and just the anomaly of that team in and of itself. And then you get Surge. And we talked about this as we were watching it. It's kind of the best thing that could have happened to you if you were going to get knocked out by Thieves. Okay, we get Surge. Surge haven't looked that strong. They're going up on land. And dude, it was the toilet bowl. Let's be honest. It was the absolute toilet bowl, but the toilet bowl didn't go in their favor and they lose 3-1 and you're going, hang on, that's it. Our run's over. All that hype for what? The Caroliners, I hate them. I'm not. He was like, I'm gonna be a fan, and we were like, they're undefeated. It's happening. No, chalk it up. Rotate New. It's over. Wrap it up.
Yeah, I feel like this event kind of settled a little bit of the hype behind some of these teams. I mean, we didn't know what to expect going into this event.
No.
We could have said that any of these top teams were going to get bowed out early. I don't want to shout us out, but we did say that the Toronto Koi were going to go out top 12, and they did. We'll get to that in a little bit. But hey, the Royal Ravens, I feel like they're back where they belong in the bottom 12.
Yep.
But hey, when you take a look at some of these CDL stat leaders, tell me one of the top people at this list that you may or may not have expected to be there.
You know what? I mean, the couple I'm looking at this, I'm like, all right, we hype up Joe Deceives a lot. We're like, this guy is tearing on Koi. I'm looking at Rencor, man. This guy's growing on me. And the fact that he is in two of these things with his overall KD and his HP KD, dude, this guy is a different player when those Slayer game modes. He's kind of like Poooh, if I'm going to be honest. In these respawn maps, he can turn up, okay? And he's just a fun guy to watch. He's really growing on me. I think that he's kind of the X factor for this Miami team. If he can really start pulling some of the weight as they're a little bit slacking a little bit, this Miami team might go on some pretty good runs here.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at that list that we're showing, Rancor at the top. But, I mean, if you look at the bottom of that leaderboard right there, you got the Exceed with an overall goals. And, hey, he only played a couple games, so shout out to him. I mean, I don't want to dog on him too bad.
I'm not even calling that. It's just tapping cheese. You get the cross, they're just tapping. I wasn't giving him his credit on that one. Let's be honest.
For sure. But, yeah, I say we take a look at some of these standings after Major 1, Poooh. I mean, Gentlemates, they're at the top. I mean, they deserve it. They just won the major, and Cloud9 sitting at the very bottom of the barrel, 12th place. I mean, what kind of shifting of these teams is shocking to you here?
I'm looking at the Falcons, man. You're sitting mid-table. We were talking about they were on the up and up. I coined it earlier. I said they're a heartbeat team. I think this is a team that is going to go up and down throughout the rest of the season. And so the fact that they're right here in the middle doesn't really surprise me, but I do think that if you're a Falcons fan, be prepared to go up to 4 and then back to 8 and up to 4 and back to 8. Be happy with 6. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm looking at G2. Hey, 75 points. I don't know if anybody's familiar watching any of the CDL last year. They had around I'm misquoting here, like 180, 160, if I'm give or take. Maybe I'm giving them a few extra points. You're halfway there, and it's just Major 1. So if you're a G2 fan, you get a little excited, Clean Joey. But Spoony, what are your teams here?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, G2, they're excited. They need to continue to watch their back in the Game 5s, and I think they're going to be just fine to qualify for champs. But I mentioned earlier, I feel like this major kind of settled the dust on some of these teams that were in the top 3 and that shouldn't have been in the mentioning of the top 5s. And we put Carolina at the top 3 going into this event. I mean, how could you not? They were 5-0 going into this major. But, I mean, looking at the standings here, your top 3, you've got Gentlemates, you've got Optic, and you've got FaZe. The only team that should potentially be in the discussion is the LA Thieves, but they completely bowed out of this tournament. They lost, two matches, and that's all it took. And so, but yeah, I mean, top 3, they deserve to be there. And I'm glad that Optic they're kind of bouncing back after their losses online to some of the major teams. To LA and to FaZe. I mean, they looked horrible in those online matches.
They did.
And they came out frying on LAN. So I think I can expect Gentlemates and Optic and FaZe, those 3 to be bouncing back and forth in the top 3. And I don't know. I don't expect really any of these other teams to be in the top 3 going forward. But I say we hop into this team by team section. I mean, I'm excited to kind of tear into some of these teams, see what you think about them, what they need to improve on. I mean, what are your thoughts on this Cloud9 team? I mean, they're sort of sitting in 12th place. I mean, what are they doing?
Yeah, 12th place. You got 10 points. You're 1 win, 4 losses, and 14 and 21 on the map count. And I'm looking at the Twitter feed, and I saw the graphic of, hey, they released the whole team. And I'm going, okay, that's a good meme. That's a good one. And then it's confirmed. And you're like, wait a second. You drop the talk about a clean slate. Okay. Now, is this insane? Yes. Let's be honest. This is a terrible organization move. Does it surprise me?
This has never happened before.
Never happened. Literally never happened before. Could it be the greatest move? Absolutely. The aura farming from this move could be generational, putting the Optic and Merc dynasty aside. You'd have to be a Cloud9 superfan for the rest of your life if they somehow place top 4 or above. I'm calling it here first. Listen, you had so many players that could have taken a spot, and they're declining the spot. That tells me one of 2 things. One, you know that this team is going to suck. Okay. And 2, seriously, that the org has not run well ever since. And we don't want to get too deep in it, but ever since they've switched from the subliners to Cloud9, it has gone downhill. I mean, what's going to happen to these players? You're looking at Bean, Afro, Mac, Vivid. All these guys are league players. Let's call it how it is. And now you're like, are they going to play challengers? Are they going to get picked up by Surge? I mean, Koi looked a little shaky. I don't know, man. This is a terrible play, and it's going to completely shake up the scene.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been crazy looking at all of the, intel that has been dropping over the last couple of days, because literally nobody knows what's going on with this org. I mean, there's been talks. Is this a poverty org? I mean, they've got to be, because the discussions with their players, part of the reason they were dropped is because they decided not to sign the new contracts with this org. And so you've got new players that are potentially looking for a spot in the CDL. They want to look for some sort of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Spotlight. They're looking for some of these teams to give them an opportunity. They want to show what they're capable of, but nobody, like you said, wants to sign on to a team that is going to be dog cheeks. But the expected Cloud9 roster, the rumored roster, is Okis, Encourage, Hyde, and Nedra. I don't know about you, but I've never heard of some of these players before.
No disrespect, never heard of them. I probably matched up with them in ranked play and absolutely destroyed them. I declined the offer from C9 just so everybody is clear. But yeah, talk about new people in the scene. Everyone's like, you got to get new people in the scene. You got to get new people in the scene. I didn't think we wanted it like this, but here we go. This is really the test of like, you're truly getting a challengers team coming in the league. Now, rumored that, the Stallions might have some investors. So this Cloud9 team could be on its way out. We'll see what is happening here. But I'm looking at not only Cloud9, Spoony, team that I think is right there with them of an org of like, what are you doing? Now, the org, I think, has it a little bit together, slightly, not much, but the bar is low when it comes to C9. Carolina Royal Ravens.
Yeah.
This is a team with 50 points. Okay. Oh, it's a little better. But you're 5-4, and you're 17-9 on your match cut. So your stat-wise, you're looking fine, right? It's nothing crazy, but this tournament showed how much online cheese this league has. The fact that a team can go undefeated, get all this hype. We were on the hype train. We get it.
Yep.
We were like, go Royal Ravens, go, man. This is fun to watch. And then on land, you're like, did we just forget how to play Call of Duty? I mean, this looked like an amateur team. The fundamentals were lacking. I get the land nerves. I would be shaken if I had freaking 2 people watching me play ranked, bro. I can imagine what that's like. But the fact is, this is your job, right? You got to show up. You can't be talking the sweet and then show up on land and crash out to LAT. Okay, whatever. Maybe make a run after that. You can't lose to Surge. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was 50 points. Those 5 matches online, they're loving that this league is online. If this was an in-person league, they would be getting absolutely cooked every single week. Yeah. And so they're loving it. They're like, oh, thank God the major's over. We can go back to winning a couple matches. Right. But who knows if they will? Maybe they're figured out now. But I mean, it was a 1-6 map count on LAN. That is not good. You played 2 matches and you went 1-6. And one of those matches was against Surge. I mean, it's unbelievable to go 5-0 and then to go 1-6 in map count. So, I mean, they need to help Lurks out. I mean, he was absolutely cooking this event. Everybody was talking about him. They're saying, bro, this guy is trying. I mean, he was the only person that was giving any signs of life on this team. And so they really got to find a way to build around him. Yep. Give him the players that give him all the money. I know you don't have a lot of money as Carolina, as the Royal Ravens, franchise, but give that kid all the money that you can and see what they can do. But I mean, another team that was super disappointing going into this event, but we kind of expected that they would be disappointing, was the Toronto Koi. I mean, they were losing out online. They looked like they were crumbling from the inside. They come out and they get smoked by Gentlemates. And then what other storyline could be as perfect as this one right here? The Miami Heretics are going to knock them out for them to go top 12. The Koi became sushi this event. If I got to be honest, the Koi were chopped up and they were put in a rice wrap and they were just absolutely cooked. So, I mean, yeah, Real and CleanX are going to be switching roles. So Real is going to take over the flex, and now we got CleanX back on the SMG. And so we'll see what he can do with Joe DeCease, because, man, this guy needs some help, bro.
He needs help. It's like when we play rank play, man, and I'm like, Spoony, what are you doing? What are you doing? Let's be honest.
It's me. Yeah, let's keep that going.
Hey,
yeah.
gold 3 over here. That's all I'm going to say. I ranked up today. It's a good day in the neighborhood.
Amen,
but listen,
amen.
what are you going to do, right? Joe Deceives is the only one shooting. You make a role change. You're like, okay, we're going to hope this works. But I'm looking at this dude, and I'm looking at like when we play ranked, and I know I've mentioned this, but it's like, I'm going to change my skin and it's all going to be fine. You know, like, what is this going to do? I think that this team, kind of how we talked about the LAT, it's not working. Like, I don't see the Koi doing that well, and it showed on land. These are guys that, yes, are talented players. So let's call it how it is. This is a great roster on paper.
Yeah.
But sometimes the rosters just don't gel. And so I don't really see it working. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to bomb out again at the next tournament. And then it's like, we got way too many points to make up with not a lot of time to do it.
Yeah. And I think, Real is looking at that Heretics roster, and he's saying, I could maybe go replace Metals over there. I could go play with Super, Redcore, and Trakes. But right now I'm playing with this team that I'm not gelling with. We're not figuring it out. And it's just weird to watch. Like you said, there's so much talent on this team that you would look at this team and you would never, ever expect them to be struggling the way that they're struggling. So it's just a weird team to watch. Yeah, I mean, when you look at this Toronto Koi roster, it's a team full of talent, like you said. And nobody would ever expect this team to go out top 12. But, I mean, hey, it is what it is, and land is land, and Call of Duty is Call of Duty. But, hey, a team that needs to step up to the plate, it's going to be the Boston Breach. But, I mean, give me your thoughts on this team, because they have been in and out, the team, not the team. What are you thinking?
I'm calling these guys the Boston Blunders. This is a team that I think does not have it together and will not have it together for the rest of this season with this current roster. Let me tell you, this is a team that they cannot find a way to put wins together consistently. And we talk about consistency in this league and how important that is. And I think this is a team that defines how important that is, because they just don't do it. I think this is a roster that needs to change, but they won't because of the organization. I think that Nasty and Snoopy are left out on an island going, guys, hello, we need some help, Spoony.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Boston Blunders, I'm kind of hot on this team still. I feel like they have an opportunity. I feel like they could have beat the FaZe on land. I feel like they could have beat them for sure. They didn't clutch up in the 2 and the 3, and then it was a close game in the 4. They got smoked map 1, but it is what it is. This team, you're never going to really expect them to come out and 3-0 unless it's, Boston versus LAT on land. But other than that, you're not expecting them to take it. But I feel like they need to go out. They need to drop Cammy, and they need to pick up a Challengers team. I mean, that's the talk of the town right now, is just go out and take a chance on a Challengers team or on a player. So just go out there and do it. Put Cammy on the bench for a couple of weeks and see how you do with a top prospect. I mean, why not? What's the worst that could happen? I mean, you're top 12 already. Only got 30 points since the beginning of the year. But, I mean, hey, it is what it is. Again, I mean, some of these teams are going to stick together. I do believe that the Breach are going to stick together. But another team that's going to stick together that hopefully will be fluctuating in terms of their placements is the Falcons. They themselves have been up and down. And I'm not talking about Salia, but I'm talking about the roster and their placings and in their matches. I mean, they show promise. They really do. I mean, they look decent on land, but they do bow out a little early. And they went up against FaZe and they went up against Optic. I mean, it was somewhat of a close series against FaZe. You could argue that they could have beat FaZe again, but they weren't close against Optic. I mean, you can argue it was the crowd cheese or whatever it was, but I know that you're a little hot on this Falcons team, Poooh. So what are your thoughts on them? I mean, do you see them getting better, or do they see them staying the same, getting worse? What are you thinking?
I said it earlier, and I'm going to stick with it. I am hot on the Falcons, and I want them to succeed. I think they're a fun team to watch. They are getting the most bag, and hey, if you want to throw some of that cheddar to rotate new, I won't complain. We'll be a Falcons watch party, let me tell you. Listen, I think that this team is a heartbeat. They really are going to go up and down and spike, and we'll see. And I'm hoping they have more upticks than down, but I think I look at this team, and I see Kismet as one of the players that he hasn't gotten comfortable yet. I think he's still trying to get a little bit comfortable on the AR. It's different for him. You got these guys that, I mean, Xnid this weekend, I'm not going to lie, he kind of stepped up. he kind of looked a little different. He's not where he needs to be yet, but we talked about how important it was for him to get to that caliber of player they needs to get to. So if the pieces start clicking, and I think they're one of the few teams that with a coach like Clayster and a team that, kind of has that winning mentality with Pred, yes, they're getting the bag. Let's call it what it is. But I don't think that they're settling like I thought they might be. I think that they might be trying to maybe take a chip or two. So I don't know confidently if they're going to be placing high, but I do think it's kind of a dark horse team. I think that we can see this team if they, get some favorable lineups in the bracket, that they could maybe squeak through the top 4. Again, like you said, they're going to only lose to FaZe and Optic. And yes, you don't want to be bowing out of the tournament, but if you are bowing out of the tournament and it's FaZe and Optic, you're like, well, I mean, I still think we're like a top 3, top 4 team. So it is what it is for them this weekend. I do think they're on the up and up. I do think that they're looking promising going in, especially with all these changes these other teams are going through. I do think that this is a time that the Falcons can kind of differentiate themselves. So like, hey, no, we're here to play and we're going to be a top 4 team heading into the major too.
Yeah. Another team for me that is kind of a dark horse, bringing the dark fuego, is the Heretics. I mean, I don't know. I feel like they're like the Falcons. I feel like they have an opportunity to beat some of these teams, and they really should, but then they just kind of drop the ball in their own way. And again, this is a new team in a way. You've got that trio that was there for last year, but all of the drama with Trakes and all of that. And I don't know if they really wanted to keep Metals. I mean, think about it. They were probably going to bring in Trakes either way. So either Metals or Real are going, and you're probably going to want to get rid of Metals. But I don't know. It's a little weird, this team, because I feel like they have the opportunity to be in the top 4, top 3 discussion like the Falcons. Yeah. But Redcore needs help. I mean, Super was amazing last year. He has his pop-off moments as well as Trakes, but they're just not consistent enough, which is the story of this team and their placing right now. So I feel like they could bring it. They could bring it one day, and then they could just get absolutely steamrolled the next. I mean, they should have beat G2. I really 100%. Think that they could have, but I guess G2 just brought it on land. So it is what it is. But, when you talk about land, you got to talk about a team that wanted to go to land, performed a little bit, and then fell completely off. I mean, what are your thoughts on the LA Thieves?
Yeah, it was not a good look. We talked about how important it was for the LA Thieves to come out and drown out all the noise, drown out all the drama. Everybody was harping on this team saying they're not a super team. And guess what? They're not. Okay. It's unfortunate. Point 3 Kenny is now point looking for a job, Kenny. And this is a player that, is a world-class player. One of the GOATs. I'll stand by that. He's had a rough 2 seasons. I do think it's time to hang up the controller, if we're going to be honest. But, I don't think Neum is going to do much better. That might be a crazy hot poo take, and I hope he proves me wrong. Not as an Optic fan, though, as a CDL, spectator, of course. But this team, they looked okay in the tournament. They never looked dominant. And I think that when you have such a high ceiling that LA has, you can't have this lackluster performance. You really have to steamroll teams, or else everyone's like, no, you got to blow it up. I didn't think LAT was going to blow it up, but you got to look at the standings. Kenny's dropping 0.6s. You got to change it up, man.
Yeah, he's either dropping a 0.2 or a 0.6. I mean, that's about as far on the spectrum as you can go in either direction. And so you can't have an inconsistent player like that, especially after you've had opportunity after opportunity. Yeah. I mean, everybody in the league loves this guy, but it comes down to the fact that they needed somebody that's more consistent. And I did see a video of the team saying that they wanted to keep Kenny, but that the management stepped in. So, hey, that's what Optic did last year with Merc. They were like going to stay, and then in the Hex and then GM Zinni were like, we're not staying. We're gonna get Merc. And Neum's been doing very, very well on the Huntsman. He was targeted, by the Thieves earlier before the major, just in case, and then he was also targeted by Carolina, and he decided to side with the Thieves. So I think he is going to step up to the plate, and I think he's gonna have a good batting average. He's not going to have a 0.6 batting average. I think he's going to have a good time. But when it comes to the LA Thieves, like you said, I think they're dominating low-tier teams, and I think they are getting smoked by top-tier teams.
100%.
It's not even close. I mean, when I turn on the LA Thieves, I expect them to either be the best team in the game or the worst team in the game.
Yep.
And it's either one of those. And so you can't have that if you're going to be expected to win a major or win champs and Scrap is wanting that ring. I mean, if he does not get a ring this year, I feel like it's never going to happen. I mean, he's going to be seen as a blunder, as somebody I don't know the right word, but he's had opportunities and he hasn't been able to do it. But props to the Thieves for making a change. They finally did it, and I'm excited to see how they can do. But that's the top 6. That's 6 through 12. When you start talking about some of these top 4 teams, Pooh, I mean, one team is not supposed to be there. And
one of these is not like the other. Like one meme that you see, man, G2 sneaking their way in, saying, "Hey guys, we're here for the party." It's like, who invited this guy? Now this is a spot that we want LAT to kind of take the stand, but G2's like, nope, this is my job. They're at 75 points, 5-6, and 24-21. Hey, this team somehow, some way is doing it. I mentioned it before. They're already halfway through their points that they got last year, and we're just through Major 1. So they're on the up and up. They're ceiling, and I think this is what benefits this team is like, yes, there are some G2 fans. Not as many as some of these other orgs, so the ceiling is pretty low. When you're on G2, I have to assume that, hey, the pressure's loose. We're just playing COD. I'm just playing for the heart of it. I don't got crazy Twitter on my head. I don't got all this stuff going on. Yes, from the other orgs, I'm sure they are sweet talking to you, and you're like, I got to shut it all off. But the ceiling is low. So to come out like they did and perform like they did was very impressive. And yes, they are going to get, absolutely dominated when they do get back out of the tournament, but they go on a pretty good run, and you got to tip it. You take out FaZe and you take out some pretty top tier teams to even put you in that position, and then you take advantage of it. And that's something that we talked about Carolina already, that you're looking at teams to do that. These middle of the pack, bottom tier teams, if you're going to get the cards dealt in your favor, you got to know how to play the board. And I think G2 Minnesota is a team that's doing that.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to be an easy win. And I don't think any of the teams would say that. If you're going to play against G2, you got to watch your VOD because they're going to be nading you out. Skies is throwing a Kobe over the top rope, and he's going to get you. So you got to make sure
doing a zesty voice while doing it too.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I think they're gonna do what they need to do, and they're gonna catch you slipping if you're not able to compete.
Yeah.
But I mean, they did not show any grit in that FaZe series. I mean, they got to a game 5 and then they completely dropped the ball. And They lost 6-0. I mean, that is not what you want to see when your life is on the line in a tournament and you have a chance to go to the top 3. And you just are playing a team that you beat. You beat them 6-0 before this. Yeah, you beat them 6-0. I mean, it was a 3-0 the first time online. It was a 3-0 on land. You showed them. You're stepping up. You're going, I run you. And then all of a sudden it's game 5 and you lose 6-0. Yep. And now Jaws is in your face.
Yep.
What worse could be, what worse of an ending could that be for them? But, you got to give your props to FaZe. I mean, FaZe, they dominated their losers run. They got sent to the losers bracket, like I mentioned, by G2 in the first round. And then they made it all the way to elimination finals, where it was one of the craziest series we've ever seen. I mean, personally, we talked a little bit about this in our debrief before the show. I think Aluka is staying on the bench. I feel like Abuza and Draza absolutely dominated, and they did what they needed to do to hold their spot. And then Simp's been frying. I mean, Simp the pimp. What are you gonna do?
What are you going to do when Simp is shooting like that? And he backed it up. He said that, he'll show everybody what's up when it comes to LAN. And he had a little bit of a shaky game here and there. And then he showed up when it matters. Listen, I'm looking at this FaZe team. And honestly, and we didn't talk about this when we were watching it because I am a diehard Optic fan. Let me be clear. But as I was watching FaZe and Gentlemates, I'm sitting there going, dude, whoever wins this series is going to win the tournament. And I truly think if Neptune doesn't have the unreal series that he had, or unreal tournament rather, in both of those matches, then it's like the FaZe wins this thing by a landslide. They went on an incredible run. You got to tip that run they went on, and you got to tip that. Listen, they had a shaky start. They didn't show up. They went in unprepared. They were like, it's online cheese. And again, like we said with G2, it's kind of a team you got to have to watch VOD for. And they learned that the hard way. But then they shaped back up to the phase we all know and hate, of course. And to go up again and go on a run like that when you have all of the Optic green wall and anybody who else is there just chanting F you, Draza, and just in your face, you're the enemy of the weekend. And to go on a run like that, you got to tip it. But we got to talk about 0-4, though. I mean, listen, Spoony, sometimes I put you in bad situations in ranked. I'm making gold 3 plays in your Crimson lobbies. I get it. But 0-4, I don't think that he's lifting up Simp like he should be, man.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about this, and I feel like 0-4, he was the stinker of this phase team for sure. I mean, if anybody is looking to potentially get replaced on this team, it's got to be 0-4. I mean, he had moments here and there, and like you mentioned, I feel like, is he putting Simp in positions to have those star performances? I mean, you could argue that he is. I mean, he's having a stinker so that Simp is having a good game, but there's really no way to see if that's the case. But I feel like this team is going to stick it out. I think they did super well in the losers bracket. And like you mentioned, if FaZe would have won that Gentlemate series, the momentum that they would have had going up against Optic,
100%.
It would have been just as crazy of a final, but I feel like FaZe again would have taken it. You know, it was a lot of momentum out of that series for whoever was going to win it. But FaZe, they showed that they had the grit to grind it out, and I think that they're going to continue to do that. I think they're going to just get better and better because that's what these top 3 teams are going to do. It was a first major. Everybody's super competitive, but these top 3 teams are going to grind out, and they're going to be better and better and better. And so you got to be able to compete. But you know, when you talk about the top 3, I mean, Optic, they went into their major and they had a bad online split towards the end of that latter half of those couple matches. And they come into this tournament and we're all like, you know, it's Optic. They're going to get the green wall behind them. The drums are going to be banging. You're going to have, you know, all the hype. It's going to be amazing. And they did that. They were 9-0 going into grand finals. I mean, Merc was going crazy. Shotzi went from having his horrible online stint to just completely popping off whenever it came to LAN. And I mean, we're Optic fans, Pooh. It is what it is. But we got to talk about that round 10 blunder in the finals. I mean, it's just Ghosty in finals again. It's just Brandon versus Ghosty, Dashy versus Ghosty to send them to round 11.
Yeah.
And they aren't able to pull it off.
No.
I mean,
a heartbreaking loss. Again, you got to tip the run. Some people will say, you know, they got a pretty easy run when it came to the lineup and everything. But listen, this is a team that had a stinker of an online series in the back end, and they needed to show up. I said it before. I said, if they don't win this tournament, I don't feel good about this team. Now, I still have some reservations about this team with consistency. I think you got to close it out, especially when you have that green wall behind you. But you got to tip the performance. I think that they shut me up. To go 9-0 before you go into grand finals is very impressive. And it brings up the argument, of course, for the CDL format and how that works and staying cold going into the grand finals. And if there should be how they do it in Halo with the reset series. I personally think that there should be a reset series, or we even extend it even to a best of 9. I don't know. We got to change it up something. And that's not even just because I'm an Optic fan. I think that there clearly is momentum that comes after the losers finals into grand finals. I mean, if you are shooting and you get to grand finals, you're like, dude, this is easy breezy, bro.
Yeah, no, Pooh, that was horse.
Yeah, that was
horse. And I'm not going to continue to finish that word off, but for you to go out of that Gentlemate series and just have that much momentum, and Optic is sitting there for 4 hours. 3 hours. They're not shooting against anybody. Nobody's scrimming Optic. You just knocked me out of the tournament. Why would I scrim you? Nobody's going to scrim Optic. You know, they're probably shooting bots. They're playing 2v2s. They're looking at VOD. While Gentlemates just clutched the best series of their whole life.
Yep.
And so now they're going to come out. They're going to get smoked in that first map. I mean, what else are you expecting them to do? They made it a competitive series. But, I mean, you know, Gentlemates, they did what they needed to do. And they are for sure the #1 team in the league right now. Despite even coming out super hot in that grand final, I feel like we kind of knew that Gentlemates going into this series was going to make it competitive, #1.
100%.
They're going to bounce back from that 3-0 from Optic.
Yep.
And they did. They watched VOD and they were doing things in that grand finals and that Optic weren't ready for.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, man, it looked like a team that was already at a major 3 placing at major 1. I mean, they were hitting crazy pre-nades. They're hitting crazy timings. They're hitting some cheese spots on the map. Not going to talk shade there. Listen, it's not G8. It's fine. It's fine. But under overall, their fundamentals, they just had it clicking and they had it working. And that's something that I think was missing from Optic. But from where Optic was online to where they jumped to, it's like that was major improvement. But this team, I genuinely think, is in a league in and of itself. And we'll get ahead of that and here Rotate New. But you look at this, you got to tip Envoy, man. Former Huntsman player. Now he's 4 different teams he's won a tournament with. It's very impressive. And I think he's the first player to do so.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that is definitely something that players would love to do, especially Kenny with the G2. Sorry, not G2, with Minnesota and then Thieves. But yeah, I wasn't able to do it because it's hard. I mean, Envoy, he's going negative almost every map. And if he's not going negative every map, he's going like 30 and 15. Yeah. And that's because he is always putting people in positions to do what they need to do. And I said 100%. It earlier, Sid and Neptune were frying in the grand final. Yeah. And if you can put those 2 people in a position to do what they need to do, they will do it. And so Envoy, I truly think that he's one of the most valuable players in the league right now. And then Neptune, when you have somebody that's gunning like him, and that duo together, it's just like, it's just like the
Chef's
best
kiss
pasta sauce you could ever taste, or what, it's like
whatever
a Dr.
the French
Pepper
equivalent is to that.
Yeah, the French equivalent. It's like a baguette with nice butter, And but anyway, Dr. Pepper in the summer, I don't know, whatever it is. But Gentlemates, they're the number 1 team right now. I think they've done an amazing job. And Ghosty, their in-game leader, calling the shots, having the leadership skills, and he's still a young player, but I think people have forgotten. I know I've certainly forgotten that Ghosty was winning last year and he's winning again this year. And I don't think this is going to be the last event that they win.
No.
And I'm looking forward to see what they can do in the next couple of majors. But I say we hop into our section of the show, Rotate New, where we tell you guys who we think needs to rotate new and who's already set up, ready to go, and prepared for the next hill. Let's hop into our section, Rotate New, now.
Okay, well, we talked about it a little bit already, and I think I know where you're sitting at, so I'll just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid. Who is your squad that is already rotated new?
Yeah, I'm super impressed with this Optic team. I mean, I was afraid going into this major. I put them getting 3-1 by the Falcons in the first round. And I got to be honest, they shut me up. They completely came out frying. We mentioned earlier they were 9-0. And not to mention the team that won the grand final, they 3-0'd. I mean, they were completely frying everybody. And then, they got a little slow towards the beginning of that grand final, but I felt like they were really never out of it. Yeah. Even us watching together, it was kind of like, hold on, they're down 5-2 in the game 7. Hold on, they're down 5-4. And then it was a 2v4. But then, we've seen the clips. We've seen everybody's reactions to this. They thought that they had the right play in challenging those players, or else they would have planted the bomb. But they will take these things and they will imply them going forward. I truly believe it. And they got the best coaching team in the league right now. They got JP Krez and they got Karma. Those guys are not happy about it. And so, think what you want, but this Optic team, I feel like they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. It's going to be Gentlemates, FaZe, and Optic all year long. Yeah. And I'm super excited to see just how much these teams grow. But Pooh, I'm looking over here. I'm seeing your pick. I don't know if Clean Joey has some effect on you.
Clean Joey might have an effect on me, man. I'm feeling pretty good about G2. I think I was clowning on Clean Joey pretty hard going into this major and him dying hard. Listen, I got to tip it. He was sticking with the G2 super fan, and they came out and they showed that, hey, we're a small boxer fighting in the heavyweight class, but we're still throwing some punches. And I think that this is the kind of team that's a huge momentum for them. They're going to take that. Again, we mentioned it with some of these other teams making some crazy roster changes. There's a little bit of drama in the scene. I think that G2 is going to keep a pretty level head and continue like, hey, guys, everybody counted us out for top 12. And we just kind of went on a nice run. Let's keep that momentum going. And Sky said it himself in one of the interviews. He said something about, this is the first time that I'm with a team going into the season and really sticking it out. And so, listen, I'm a Sky's hater over here. I'll say what it is, but this guy is showing up to be a little bit of an IGL and really taking that leadership and really kind of molding. And if he starts shooting Poooh might just have to eat his words, and that would be pretty impressive. So I've got G2 on the up and up. I still think they're in that like 5, 4, maybe 6 position, but this is a team that we were like, they're at the bottom of the barrel. And now it's like, hang on, they're spicing some things up. So it'll be very interesting going into Major 2. And that being said, man, do we talk about bottom of the barrel? And I got a whole tangent to go on, so I'm going to let you rip it first, man. Who is your squad that needs to rotate?
Yeah. I mean, the Northeast is cold right now, and so is Boston.
Yeah.
Boston is frozen in place. They are not making it out of the top 12, and I don't think that they will anytime soon unless they take our advice, our rotate new, expertise of grabbing a challengers player. I mean, it is not that hard. Yeah. It is not that hard to just make one choice that is going to change your season forever. I mean, I love Cammy, and it was super cool when he had the 1v5 in control, but this is a different game, and the guy's hoarse. He's hoarse now. I mean, it's over. I mean, Kleenex is falling off, Insight's falling off, it's Cammy's falling off. And Bance is gone. So, that Toronto Ultra team, they're done for. That they were in the past. They're the veterans of this team, but they're gone now. It's time to move on, and Boston needs to do something because when I watch them, it feels like when their cams are on and they're playing, they don't know how to play as a team, number one, and they're so close to like beating these teams that they should beat, but then they don't. And then they get smoked by the teams that you expect them to beat. It's just weird to watch. Yeah. So I feel like they're a team that is just comfortable. They're getting paychecks. They're getting paid to play Call of Duty. I mean, it's hard to watch, truly. I feel like this team really needs to rotate new, hunker down, figure out some things. And I mean, I don't know what it's going to happen the rest of this year, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I call them the Boston blunders for a reason. I think they are blundering it from top to bottom, and I think they're comfortable. I think this is not a team that is really putting it together, really being like, hey, really need to assess what we're going to. I mean, if LAT can look at the, performance they had and go, we still need to make a change. And Boston's there going, no, we're fine.
Yeah.
I mean, what? And that leads me to my stuff of like, oh, bro, don't even get me started, but here we go. I got like 4 teams coming under fire today. I know we're supposed to pick one, but I'm rapid fire mode. The rapid fire attachment is on. Caroliners. What happened? You show up to LAN and it's like, what? Did we just forget to plug in the Ethernet, or do we have like 4 Ethernet cables that we're running at home and that's what we got? Cronus's? What are we doing? You don't know how to shoot on LAN. Lurks is there going, guys, what can you help a brother out? I'm a rookie. I should not be the only one frying, and I'm not even really frying. It is like a silver in a pile of poop. That's what he is in that team, bro. I don't know why that's the analogy, but listen, this team, so much online cheese was shown with this team. It's a perfect case study for online COD needs to die, because the fact that this team can get so much hype like they did, we hyped them up. We'll take ownership of that, but how could you not? They went undefeated, and then they show up and it's like, oh, this is not good at all. I'm looking at this team going, hey, drop everybody but Lurks. Let's pull a almost C9 here and let's change it up. This is not working. Slasher might have been right on this one. And then, bro, don't even get me started. I'm looking at, and don't think anybody else is safe. Koi, you think that just because you're going to change roles, just because you're going to change operators or change skins, all of a sudden you're going to be shooting now. Let me be honest, and let me tell you from personal experience, you're not going to. Have fun collecting 0 points and 0 paychecks in the top 12, because that roster doesn't work. And you're good players on paper. Let's be honest, you're much better players than Carolina. I'll give it to you. But you're not gelling. There's no consistency. This is not an individual game. Yes, you got players like Neptune going on absolute insane runs, putting the team on his back, but his team is still shooting. His team is still making great plays together. You guys look lost. It's like leading the floor blind mice and there's nobody orchestrating the choir. What is happening? I don't even know.
Dak Prescott's not going to become a receiver for the Dallas Cowboys because so I don't know how these roles are gonna work out, but I mean, Poooh, you got a vendetta. I feel like you got something against sushi.
I got something I don't like. Don't even get me started there. I don't love sushi. I don't love sushi when you eat sushi and then all of a sudden you end up in Central Park. Let's just end it on that one. Time out. Hey, the real ones know, but hey, that is who needs to rotate new. Baby Pooh needs to rotate new. But man, we've got a crazy major. And I don't think we've talked about this yet. Only a certain amount of teams actually get to go to the event for Major 2, man.
Yeah, the top 10 teams will be competing at this major. I mean, come on. We got 2 teams at the bottom of the barrel. Who do we think is going to miss the placings here? I don't think Carolina's going to miss the placings because they got online matches. So I think it's going to be Boston, and I think it's going to be Cloud9. I think that they're going to be at home watching with their feet kicked up while Optic and Gentlemates are in the final again. And just to shout out one more time, because I don't think we mentioned it, but Tudor.
Yeah.
Mr. Tudor.
Mr. Tudor.
Can we just flash his grand final bracket right now so people don't think we're faded? He predicted 4-3
crazy
Gentlemates over Optic. And this man does not watch Call of Duty.
No.
He doesn't watch it. And he just chose the team that he thought he was going to win. And then the one that he thought they were going to win against. Somehow it happened, Pooh. But yeah, like you said, it's going to be a crazy next couple of weeks with the matches. I'm excited for our Squad Up episode that's going to release later this week where we talk about all the matches. We got 3 matches on Friday now instead of 2.
That's much better.
4 and then 4. So it's going to be a good time.
It's going to be a good time. Lots of Call of Duty happening. We got ranked play out. We got more matches coming. We got hopefully some more crazy drama on land. But listen, don't go anywhere. Stay right here with us as we keep you all in the loop. It is so much fun to have you guys, and we're excited to be here, man.
Yeah, I can't wait for the rest of this year. It's been a pleasure to get to talk about these matches, talk about Call of Duty. And yeah, we're going to see what the rest of the year has in store.
Yeah, crazy that we are already 1 major in under our belt. But listen, Major 2, it starts now. We'll see you guys in Squad Up. Hopefully our picks are better this time around. We know a little bit more about the scene. But from all of us here at Rotate New, I'm Pooh.
And I'm Spoony.
We'll catch you guys in the next one. God bless.
Take care.